My family's hero was a monster. I uncovered the truth on his deathbed. My name is Daniel, a 38-year-old man. For my entire life, my family revolved around the legend of my father, Robert. He was a self-made man, a pillar of our small community. The story we were raised on was one of tragedy and triumph. In 1985, when my older sister Lily was just a baby, my father's first wife, Anna, had died in a tragic house fire. A faulty space heater, they said. Robert, the story went, was a hero. He'd fought through the flames to save baby Lily, suffering burns on his arms that he carried as badges of honor. He rebuilt his life. He married my mother a few years later, and they had me. Our family was built on the bedrock of that story. My father was resilient. My mother was compassionate. We were a testament to overcoming loss. The doubt started small. I was helping my parents move out of the family home after my father's cancer diagnosis. In the attic, I found a sealed box labeled Anna. My mother never spoke of her. "That's your father's past," she'd say, a strange tightness in her voice. "It's too painful for him." Curiosity got the better of me. Inside, I found photos of Anna. She was beautiful, with Lily's same bright eyes and fiery red hair. And I found a life insurance policy. A massive one. It felt cold, calculating. My father, the grieving hero, had taken out a huge policy on his young wife just 6 months before she died. When I cautiously asked him about it, his affable demeanor vanished. That was for Lily's future. He snapped, his voice uncharacteristically sharp. "Don't you dig around in things you don't understand, son." The look in his eyes wasn't grief. It was fear. The cancer was merciless. In his final days, heavily medicated, my father drifted in and out of coherence. My mother and I took turns at his bedside. One night, it was just him and me. The room was dark, lit only by the glow of the heart monitor. He gripped my hand, his strength shocking for a man so close to the end. "Daniel," he rasped, his eyes wide and unfocused. "The fire. It wasn't the heater." My blood ran cold. "What do you mean, Dad?" "I saw him. I saw him do it," he whispered, tears streaming down his temples. "I was supposed to be at work, but I came home from my lunch pail. I saw him through the window, pouring the gasoline. I tried to stop him, but I was too late for Anna." "Who, Dad? Who did you see?" But his eyes closed, and he slipped back into unconsciousness, leaving me with a terrifying, half-formed truth. My father wasn't a hero. He was a witness. I was reeling. I couldn't tell my mother, not yet. I started digging with a frantic, sick energy. I went to the town's historical society and found the microfiche of the local paper from 1985. The article about the fire was brief. "Local woman perishes in house fire. Faulty wiring suspected." But next to it was a smaller, unrelated article. "Local man, Peter Mitchell, reported missing." Peter Mitchell was my father's former business partner. Their small construction company had gone under a year before the fire, amid rumors of embezzlement. My father had always said Peter skipped town with what was left of the company's funds. The two events, the fire and the disappearance, had always been separate tragedies in our family lore. Now, they crashed together in my mind with horrifying force. I tracked down Peter Mitchell's elderly sister, Margaret, in a nursing home. When I mentioned my father's name, her face hardened. "That man," she spat. "My Peter idolized him. Then their business failed, and Robert blamed him. Peter was going to the police. He said Robert had been siphoning money for years. The day before he disappeared, Peter told me, if anything happens to me, Robert did it. We all thought he was just being dramatic. Then he was just gone. Armed with this, I went back to my father's bedside. My mother was there. I couldn't protect her anymore. "Dad," I said, my voice trembling but firm. "It was Peter Mitchell, wasn't it? He set the fire, and you killed him for it." My mother gasped. "Daniel, how dare you?" But my father's eyes opened. The medication and the proximity of death had stripped away all his defenses. He looked at me and then at my mother with a profound, naked shame. "No," he whispered. "You have it backwards." The truth he told us then was more monstrous than anything I had imagined. Peter Mitchell hadn't embezzled the money. My father had. Peter found out and was going to the police. So my father murdered him. He made it look like Peter had skipped town. But Anna, his wife, had grown suspicious. She'd found a ledger, proof of what he'd done to Peter and where he'd hidden the body. She threatened to go to the police. So I had to stop her, my father said, his voice a hollow whisper. "The fire. It was so easy to make it look like an accident. The insurance money set me up for life. It built this family. It built everything for you." He looked at my mother, whose face was a mask of horror. "I saved Lily. I carried her out. I thought that made it right. That one good act could balance the scales. He hadn't fought through flames to save his child. He had started the fire, let it rage, and then walked in to rescue his daughter. A calculated performance to cement his hero narrative and cover his tracks. My father died less than 48 hours later, taking his full confession to the grave. The man we had loved, respected, and built our lives around was a cold-blooded killer who had murdered two people, his partner and his wife, for money and self-preservation. My mother had a mental breakdown. She was hospitalized for severe depression, lost in the horror that her entire 35-year marriage was a lie, funded by blood money. My sister, Lily, was destroyed. The story of her heroic father saving her from a fire was the cornerstone of her identity. To learn that he had orchestrated the death of her biological mother, the woman she'd spent a lifetime grieving, shattered her. She hasn't spoken to me since the confession, blaming me for digging up the past. I am now the sole keeper of a truth that has destroyed my family. Do I go to the police? The main perpetrator is dead. What would it achieve? To publicly brand my father a murderer? To devastate the remaining relatives of Peter Mitchell and Anna, who have had decades to find some peace? To drag my shattered mother and sister through a media circus? But the alternative is to live with it. To carry this horrific secret. Every happy childhood memory I have is now poisoned. The college tuition, the family vacations, the down payment on my house. All of it was paid for with blood money. The heroic scars on my father's arms were not from a rescue, but from arson and double murder. I am plagued by nightmares. I see Anna, trapped and betrayed. I see Peter Mitchell, a man forgotten by everyone but me, in an unmarked grave my father never revealed. I am living in a house of cards built by a monster, and I am the only one who knows the foundation is rotten. The weight of this truth is crushing me. I sought the truth thinking it would set me free, but it has only built a prison around my soul. My father's final legacy wasn't his wealth or his community's standing. It was this, a secret so dark it obliterated our past and annihilated our future. He didn't just kill two people. In the end, he killed his entire family, TLDR. My father died a community hero, known for saving my sister from a house fire that killed his first wife. On his deathbed, he confessed that he actually murdered his business partner for discovering his embezzlement, and then murdered his wife when she uncovered the truth. The heroic rescue was a calculated act to cover his tracks, and our family's wealth was built on this double murder.